The world is a kind of web, a nest of threads intertwined with each other, a mess beyond description, if I may say so. And here we are, in this web. We navigate through it. Our world is complex, but our minds prefer simplicity. It leads to massive misunderstanding, confusion, and even hate among us. It would be so much better to take a step back and admit it once and for all. We don't always understand everything. In fact, we never do. It was Weber, a French author, who said, "Ever more complex, ever more refined, such is the course of the evolution of things." I think he's right. It can be almost an universal law. The universe probably began with the Big Bang. From the energy present in the universe, fundamental particles were formed, then complete atoms, and then the first stars. We can also talk about the first animal, a marine animal, a stenophora. Different forms of life started to develop different modes of movement, nutrition, communication, and here we are, us, human, with a truly sophisticated body and organs. And humans, they cooperate in groups, as other animals do, and little by little it becomes more and more complex. Social hierarchies, interdependency, bonds of belonging, we end up with today's extremely complex societies, where each human community has linked with the others, whereas there are a phenomenon linked to globalization that extend common practice to a large part of humanity, but also a phenomena of withdrawal where humans seek to preserve their culture. Economically, we live in a highly globalized system with supply chains all over the world. Politically, we live in a multipolar world with extremely complex interaction between those major powers, but also between every country. This complexity generates tons of information for us to proceed, especially now with technology. Among it all, there is false information, and there is also incomplete information, which is at least as dangerous as if it were false. So, we reduce the volume of information we process on a daily basis. But in doing so, we narrow our field of vision. We are forced to have only a partial view of an event, a subject, or an issue. In practical terms, we have to rely on sources of information that process and summarize this information for us. It could be the media, a public figure, a family member, or friends. My point is that we see the world as our environment shapes it. What we read, what we listen to, what we see, all of this will influence the information that we will use to form an opinion. And from there, we make mistakes. Or when we see someone else making a mistake, we are too blinded by our own ideas to help them. Or worse, we let ourselves be seduced by simplistic ideas, salvific ideologies that make all the world's problems disappear with a snap of the finger. Realizing that, I didn't really know how to navigate in our world. However, I would like to share ideas that helped me a little. Of course, the first thing will be to navigate in this web with enough tool to try to understand it. Try hard. Inform yourself and try to be honest about it. Information comes before opinion, not the reverse. The second thing would be to reconsider. Reconsider, because no one is immune to ignorance. Since anything you believe in can be questioned, always question what you think. Whatever you're thinking, take a step back and admit that you may be wrong. But beyond reconsidering, I think it's also important to consider. Consider the person in front of you, even if you're not agreeing with them, because, you're living with them. And like all of us, their vision of the world was shaped by the information they were exposed to. I'm not saying all opinions deserve a calm and cold respect, but everyone does deserve consideration. Never in history has hatred succeeded in overcoming hatred. Respect has.